Hello, good evening. Welcome to the title. It's part 5. It's getting exciting now, Gav. It's nearly over. How are you doing?
It's good. I think you were telling me we do games like from January to June or something
Dude,
here, don't we?
it sounds mad, doesn't it?
Because everything that's gone on. Yeah, look, we've done 4 of these so far. I think me and you have done three. You and Kev have done one of them.
Yeah.
They're on our membership feed. We're opening this one up for free tonight. For anybody that wants to come in and chat around it. I know it is an awkward time of 8:45 at night, but that's just the way things are. Um, but yeah, this is episode 5. It'll actually bring us through to winning the league. Am I right?
Yeah, bring us
Yeah.
through to winning the league.
And then
But
episode 6 is about 7 games
being
when we're
pissed.
drunk and how we felt about it, and we didn't care. So yeah, no, looking
Yeah,
forward to it. I've really enjoyed it, and it's coincided well because we have a new series that kicked off today as well,
really
for
good.
our members as well, which was a brilliant show, an absolutely brilliant show as well. So yeah, it's good, and
Yeah,
I'm look, this is always great to go back and talk about.
yeah, it is. Right, so let's start. It's 1st of February. Liverpool at home to Southampton. Um, sort of the usual back four. Chamberlain's in for Manny because Manny's still got a bit of a. Manny's still not back from his hamstring issue.
Yeah,
So we've got Chamberlain on the left side of the front three, and the usual boys in the middle.
mm.
And I'll be honest, it's a shite first half. I think it's 0-0. It's just not
Is
masses happens. All the fun happens in the second half.
the fun as in? Is this
The
where
goals,
Danny Ings thinks he should have two penalties?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we've run down the
And
other with
you you know me, I just go off memory for most of this, but yeah. So it is a terrible first half. I think you're right. I think did we end up winning it like 3-0?
4-0. We won it in the
Four
end.
0 4-0. Salah gets one. I remember I actually remember the fourth now as I think of it. But yeah, like we're kind of. I think we're in the zone here now where we're just grinding results.
Yeah, it's getting it done.
It
It's
feels very grindy at this stage, doesn't it? Like
yeah,
even if you go back over the previous games we've been speaking about in the last episode, it's like, oh, we just got over that one and we just got that one and we just done that one, and it was like we're still in that kind of um
it's more for
kind of
grunt
zone
this one.
because like let's be honest, like teams couldn't do anything against us. So what happened
Mm.
is you invariably ended up with teams literally just camping in their own half and hoping for the best. Although this one,
So I'm sort of a go.
Southampton do
Them,
have a go. And yeah, isn't it? Who's the tackle boy?
I think it's Manny, not Manny. Matip. I
Matip.
think it's
Yeah,
Matip. Matip
and
and
I think
Ings. You
I
get
think I think Ings has a major show here. Actually, now that I
yeah.
look
It
back at it,
looks
I'm
like
kind
it.
of going. At the time, I'm going fuck off. Um,
Yeah.
you know, Kev says there all the talk around this time was records, points totals. Yeah, it was like because no one knew it was coming. A pandemic around the world. At this stage, anyway, I don't think they did. I think it was rumbling on a little bit in China and stuff, but
Yeah, but it was also, I think, it still felt like I think, well, yeah, but that's over the other side of the world. We don't need to
yeah,
worry about that.
yeah, and we were kind of going
What?
about our business. Um, but look, it's a 4-0 win, but it doesn't tell the tale of the game at all.
No, I mean, because if we say we get away for the penalty, which is probably pretty fair, we just run around the other end. And to be fair to Chamberlain, he takes his goal well, edge of the box, bangs it bottom corner, and he enjoys it. And he's like 2-2 now. Chamberlain on the quiet
Yeah.
picks up quite a few good goals and actually key
Was the
goals, almost
last
like
game he spoke
equalised or openers.
was the
It
last game he
might be the
spoke
last.
about West Ham away?
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
he gets the second in
gets the
that.
second there. Yeah,
Yeah, the second goal though was where you kind of went, this is Liverpool know they're winning it because the league in terms of not the game is
oh, sorry, just to
balls.
go back, just to go back.
Yeah,
I think Ings. Am I right in saying Ings has this claim for a penalty, and Liverpool literally run down the other end of the
it's
pitch? It's
very
given
City
to
like.
it's given to Chamberlain. He kind of comes inside and then hits one low into the near corner at the cop, and it's literally within 15 seconds of Danny Ings like shouting blue murder at the far end of the pitch.
I know, funny isn't
Yeah,
it?
I'm all over it. Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, there's a ball to Firmino. He takes it in the byline and he just plays it back to Henderson. Who again, this is where so I had to go. Henderson's offside, but the ball's played wide to Firmino. Henderson runs back onside. And it's
mm,
cut back to him. It's a good finish.
yeah,
But it's that weird celebration where Firmino just stands there looking with a smirk, and him and Henderson like head to head.
yeah,
Like it was just acting the bollocks a little bit, but it was a bit more like you just know they're kind of like we just know we're winning this.
yeah.
And then Salah gets his customary 2 goals. Although I do think when it was 3-0, they were just trying to set Minamino up for the last 10 minutes. And even they tried to set Minamino up, he sort of hit Salah and went in. He was like, "Oh, fuck," because
So
Minamino stuck behind.
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember the third one.
Oh, the third one is it's Firmino gets it wide right, and he plays like a curved ball along the floor. Salah runs onto it, and it's what that one he does where a bit like Coutinho's against De Gea. As the keeper goes out, he just dinks it over it
Yes.
rather
Yeah.
than slamming it.
Yeah.
We
That's
all
the
expect to
third. I'm
slam
actually
it.
getting.
It's the little thing.
I have that in my head as the fourth. Sorry.
That's
I have
that's
that in
the
my head as
third.
the fourth. Yeah.
The fourth is where I think Firmino tries to play it. I think he's trying to play it to Minamino. They were desperate to get Minamino a goal, and Salah sort of mishits it. It sort of hits the defender, hits Salah, and loops in. I'm
Yeah.
still to this day not quite sure Salah scores. It looks more like an own goal every time I
Well,
see
it's
it. But
funny now because you're mentioning that, right? Um, and I, at about 1:30 this morning, was on Twitter and I seen all of Salah's goals in 17 minutes. I ended up standing at the kitchen counter
oh,
looking
it's
at the
great,
phone,
great, isn't it?
and it's given to him as the goal because that's part of
Yeah.
it. But I, I thought it was the other way around. I thought the one down the side he gets last, but I could be wrong. I probably am, but yeah,
The reason I noticed that we're out because literally I watched it about an hour ago to refresh my brain just to make
yeah,
sure I
okay.
wasn't misremembering.
And it wasn't even close to Liverpool's best performance of the season. But
No, they
what
were.
happens again, like Southampton have that show, and when you look back at it, you're thinking it's probably a penalty. But what happens is once Liverpool go ahead, you're never beating them. You're just
No.
never beating them. Like it's like, oh Jesus, there's our chance gone because now they don't care if we sit back for the last 5 minutes because they just eat us alive in that time. And it showed two sides to Liverpool. I think it showed a side where maybe they were not slowing up, but in a bit of cruise control. But the same formula works. Liverpool get ahead of you. They were just so stingy at the back that you weren't getting back into it. And invariably, you end up conceding 2, 3, and 4. And it's another win. I don't know how many games we're in now at this stage.
Let me have a check. How many league games is that? That is league game number 25.
So we're 24 wins and a draw in.
Mad, isn't it? Absolutely
Yeah.
mental. So speaking of
73
mad,
points from 75.
yeah. So speaking of mad, in more ways than one, we talked about obviously the mad numbers we saw in the game when we got beat by Villa 5-0.
Yeah.
Well, we drew 2-2 with Shrewsbury, and Klopp did his thing where he calls the league out again. He goes, "Well, it's great, but you put the replay in the middle of our winter break. I will be there, and none of my players will be. So good luck."
Yeah.
Which really pissed off the Shrewsbury chairman because basically TV coverage heard that and went, "Oh, okay, we're not putting it on telly." And it wasn't on telly. I found a stream to watch it on, which I'll be honest, I think it's still playing. It was that far behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like the oldest stream ever. But I mean, put it this way: the most experienced player on the pitch was Curtis Jones. So to
Yeah,
give you an
is
idea,
this the one where Milner stays off
Milner's-
his winter
Milner-
break and go and spends the day with the team or goes to the ground with them, sits on the bench and
I think he helped out coaching, and he asked, what's your man's name? He went to he's the under-23s coach. He went to Blackpool. Oh, I can't think of his name.
yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, sort of chat to him anyway. But he was like, "Oh yeah, you can come back and do it." He's quite understated, but I mean, these are squad numbers to give you an idea. Yeah, Keller is 62, and you had 46, 51, 72, 76, 48, 67, 68, 80, 84, 49. That was the starting. They were the numbers of the starting lineup.
Do Shrewsbury go ahead in this?
They think they do, and then VAR rules it out because he's just offside. They go berserk and they think because Tuesday are all over Liverpool because it is literally men against boys.
Yeah.
And then Harvey Elliott puts in after they had to go. Harvey Elliott puts in quite a deep crossing, and an ex-Man United defender, which always makes it funny.
Critchley is your man's name.
Yeah,
Tom and Kev, yeah.
Neil Critchley. That's it. Ex-Man United defender. It just heads it into the Kop for us. And Harvey Elliott celebrates like he scored.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and that was it. We go through. But yeah, apparently, like the Shrewsbury chairman was causing murder at Anfield. He was got there, where's Kenny Dalglish? Where's FSG? Where are all the big directors? And they're all not there because they're all like, we don't care about this game. We don't want it to happen. And obviously, it cost them a lot of money. There was a lot of.
Well, that's bullshit because how many people were at the ground? They get 50% of the gate.
Oh yeah, but TV money, it's costing this. Liverpool should give them the whole gate. There's all this sort of palaver.
Yeah.
The usual stuff of Brown FA Cup. It's just like, but it
Well,
was funny.
go and speak to the FA who stuck the game on in the middle of a winter break for the Premier League. Like,
Yeah, it's that's the point everyone misses. But anyway,
yeah.
we get back from our winter break, and so this is like 24th of February now. So it's it's a bit of a gap because we played 15th of February. So it's like a 2 week gap.
Mm.
We played Norwich away, and we are absolutely dreadful.
Is this
This is
1-0 Mane where he shoves your man at the
yeah,
back?
yeah. That was all.
Yeah.
And
And
Mane
it's
comes off the
definitely a
bench.
foul.
I don't think it is.
It is.
I don't think it is because I've watched it a couple of times, and it's one of those ones where it's the little nudge. I think what does the defender is the way he does the big arch back thing, and I think for once the ref's gone, I'm not buying that because the actual
I
touch he does is brilliant and volleys it.
I think it is a foul. I think with a defender going up for the ball and you put your hand on him like that for no reason, it is a foul. Liverpool are awful in this game because from what I think Norwich go down this season.
Yeah, they're pretty.
And we hammered them on the first day of it.
Yeah.
But I think they go down, Norwich, with a bit of a whimper. I could be wrong. Someone will check the table, but I think they go down. But this one is a big mix of Liverpool not being good and Norwich realising we're not that good and kind of stay in the game for a long period of time. Did you say Mane was on the bench and come on?
Yeah, he came off the bench. He was on the bench, and I got the impression from Klopp he ideally didn't want to bring him on, but he had to bring him on at like the hour mark because Liverpool had nothing. It's the Henderson long ball that does it. I mean, after the little nudge, you call it a push, I call it a nudge. It's the touch to bring it down. The finish is Mane at his best.
Yeah.
And then Liverpool, it's one of those you see it out because all the focus at that time was we've got Atletico Madrid, so we need to get through this and. We're not going to go over the game very much. We lose 1-0 away in Atletico Madrid. I'll be honest, we're just we get fairly much Atletico'd. As in, they get a 1-0 up, but we just don't create anything. We're just very sloppy, very lax. And then to compound things, I think it's a training ground incident. We lose Allison, or is it a week? No, it's a week after we sorry, I'm getting things. We lose Allison, but then we go into West Ham at home. And West Ham aren't in great form when we play them. We've already beaten 2-0 at their place. We think, okay, this should be.
Yeah, it's a fairly quick turnaround, isn't it, between the away and the home games? You always get one of these teams where you play them and then you play them. Arsenal is this one this year, where we're playing Arsenal on the 23rd of December. Then I think we played them on the 2nd of February. So there's only 5 weeks or something between the two games. There's always a team where you get them really close. Wolves has won this season as well, where you get them really close.
So we look at that. I mean, sidewise, it's the usual back four. It's catering for Henderson, and then it's Salah, Mane, Firmino up front. So you think, okay, pretty normal Liverpool side. Off we go. We have Lovren and Matip both on the bench, but we have the perfect start. But then it all goes a bit hair and scare him after that. To be honest,
this is the one where Trent crosses from deep. Or from the end line at the Anfield Road end, and Wijnaldum has a header, and Fabianski, I think it's Fabianski, should save it. And it goes
it's where we think he's going to leave it for a corner, Trent, and he just does like a 360 spin and just goes, I'll just bang it in and see what happens.
Yeah, and Wijnaldum it's a good header, but the keeper should definitely save it.
Yeah.
And it goes in, and you're thinking, right, that's a grand settler. Do you know what I mean? Because remember, like Kevs is there after this game. I think we're on 79 points. Looking back, that's a mental points total in February. Peace is 79 points, probably won at least half of the Premier League titles over the years. But in the background, like, we're miles clear. But in the background, you're still thinking Liverpool just have to get out. They just want to get over the line here. And the closer you get to going over the line, no matter how far you are ahead, you start.
More paranoid you get.
Not even that. I think you start to.
You always want it done then.
We're at that point to tighten up a little bit. Just get it over. Just get it done now.
I'm trying to plan our piss up in Liverpool, to be honest.
Yeah,
what do we need Liverpool for a piss up?
I'm going to be honest. Hands up, and we'll probably go into it more. At this stage, I have Liverpool booked for the last day of the season, which is.
I had the last weekend.
No, sorry, we're away in Newcastle the last day of the season.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, and we actually booked Liverpool from the Sunday to the Tuesday because we thought they'll do the parade on the Monday, and we had a place booked. Me and Paddy Lawson had Sunday and Monday, coming home late Tuesday night. We had a place in Liverpool. The name I forget, but it's up near close enough to Lime Street. And we were like buzzing. This is gonna be the best thing ever. You know, there was loads of lads going over. It was brilliant. But yeah, like we're not good. We end up 2-1 down.
Yeah, I think literally 3 minutes later, we scored after about 9 minutes. 3 minutes later, Diop scores from a corner. It's a good header.
Yeah.
You see
Yes.
Diop,
I remember that.
and you think, but even then, you're not panicked thinking, "Oh, okay, that."
And then your man scores
Fornells.
Fornals.
But it's a second
Start of the
half, though, isn't
second
it?
half. Yes. Yeah, I
You're thinking,
remember.
all right, Liverpool come out second half, we'll get this sorted.
Yeah.
And you are just going, oh, and I'll be honest, Liverpool are a bit all over the shop. They generally
Yeah.
are a bit not in the best form, because I think no longer as Fennell scores, Chamberlain's thrown on for Keita, just to give us a bit more of a drive from midfield. But I mean, the equaliser, it's probably Salah's scruffiest goal he's ever scored in his life. I think Robson down the left plays it back to Salah and he hits it. It's the most scuff shot.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Straight at Fabianski, through his hands and goes in. It's like two. That's what the second one we had that year.
Yeah.
And then the winner is, bless him, Joe Gomez decides why he decides this.
45 yards out, he just decides to hit it, doesn't he?
I'm going to do a Jagielka of a pop, which I was just about to lose me shit of, like, because I hate defenders who shoot from that distance who've never scored a goal in their life.
Yeah.
But it hits a West Ham defender, deflects wide, straight into Trent's path, who just cuts it across our Manny tapping. And it generally felt like, I actually don't know how we've won the game, because all three goals are ones two the keeper should save, and the third one's got so much luck around it.
Yeah.
It is a little bit of the devil's club. You can think this is sometimes why other fans hate us, because you think these results are really do your head in. The sort of thing that when United won the league under Fergie, you go, they always get a result like this. This is
but to be fair, like, and I completely get
West
your
Ham play
point.
well.
Yeah, West Ham play really well. And if I remember, it's a really decent goal by Fornals as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
but to be fair, I don't think when you look back at these games that we talk about, we're grinding them out. I don't think there's ones where you go, oh my God, you got away with more there, right? Because Southampton, they have a claim. At the time, like I said, I'm going, no way, no fucking way, no one's stopping us.
We're clinical against Southampton, look. We're very clinical.
And then we're clinical and we go and put them to bed, right? There's games even further back, Wolves at home around the Christmas periods where we're not great, but it's not a case of, Jesus Christ, they've had 4 games with massive luck to win those games. It's just Liverpool weren't at their absolute best and had to grind it out a little bit. But this one, I'll give you, this one I think has massive luck in it, right? Because, I think the keeper should save the first, most definitely the second, and the third one's a bit of luck. I 100% give you this game. But I think it's the first one where you really feel like, geez, they've had a real slice of luck there. The rest of them are just, Liverpool are playing a 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10 here and just managing to win. That's what I think it was.
So then we go to the end of February. Watford away, where Liverpool are not 7 out of 10. I wish they were. They were like 0.7 out of 10. Watford 3-0. Liverpool just don't turn up.
No.
Your man Sarr just twice.
It's Miley Sarr.
Twice in the break. Takes basically he got similar chances to what he got at Anfield, but this time he was clinical. And he took his chances, and Troy Deeney gets a third. Liverpool just all round.
Yeah, this was probably coming. In fairness,
yeah, I think so.
It's game 27 in the league, is it?
Yeah. I mean, listen, Arsenal fans got happy because they stopped them getting their another club, the perfect thing. This is all the thing now. Is we can't get perfect. We can't get 100. To be honest, I always say if that's the level you're getting to stick to beat Liverpool with, that shows how good you'd be in this year. You didn't go perfect.
Arsenal failed to win 33% of their games in that league winning season. Anyway, so this is game 27. Am I right?
Yeah, game 28.
28. So we're sitting on 26 wins, one draw, and 1 loss.
That's right. If you get to game 28 and it's your first loss, it's like...
Yeah. And it is one where it's probably coming. In hindsight, you look back at those games and the West Hams and whatever else before it, and you're kind of going, yeah, this is probably coming, and we probably need it. We probably need it because it was becoming a bit of a thing around us, and we were starting to, again, stiffen up at the thoughts of what we were trying to do. P says, Gav, I hope it wasn't the Adelphi. that you were staying in. You catch them if you stayed there. No, it wasn't the Adelphi. It was it was.
Is
I
it
can't
literally
remember
right
the
next?
name. I
Is it
can't.
literally right next to Lime Street as you walk up the hill?
Oh no, I know where the
Oh,
Adelphi is.
no, the one you're talking about as you got the
No,
Adelphi,
no,
there's a
this
hill.
one,
There's
this
one
one
there.
was actually down. What's the next train station down? Is it Moorlands? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was down beside there. Something like Reynolds Street or something it was called. And I can't remember now. It was like an apart hotel. And I'll
Oh,
tell you,
okay.
I'll tell you how is I tell you how bad it is. We got it for dirt cheap, and it's a really nice spot. And I remember going back 2 years later after the whole COVID, and they were looking for about 900 quid for 2 nights. I can't remember the name of it. I will as this goes on. But just on the Adelphi, every time I walk by that, it's horrendous. It's absolutely
So
horrendous. But it's probably like genuinely one of the probably the top 5 nicest looking buildings in the city.
that's
And
what I
what
mean.
it's subjecting itself to is absolutely and utterly appalling.
It needs to take it off the current ownership and just redone up. It's a bit of a heritage. I'm surprised it's not actually a heritage thing.
Yeah,
It's
but
quite
like,
it's an iconic thing in Liverpool. Well, it's not now. It's iconic for different reasons. It's
yeah, well, it's a kind of a different reason. But look, when you see where it sits, and I know this is a bit of a tangent, but fuck it. When you see where it sits, kind of on that junction, like around the corner on Lime Street, then it's where it sits. It's prime. Like it's not like it's a lovely, beautiful building off the side where you could walk by it. It's right in the middle of that junction. And like
mm,
what goes on, like I remember getting a taxi from Liverpool Airport into town, and uh, wherever I asked to go, yeah, man, so can I just drop you at the Adelphi, right? Because I was like, yeah, it's literally 100 yards from where I'm going, wherever's easiest for you. And literally, he opened. It was one of these Mercedes vans, and literally, like, I wasn't in good form. I was had to be up from 3 a.m. The flight was delayed. Wasn't good. And I'm sitting in the back of this van, and your man said, 20 quid, 25 quid, whatever it was. And I was getting the money out. And literally, he pressed the button to open the door to let me out. And these 3 fucking pricks got in the van, tried to get in the van. 2 fellas and a girl out of their face, 9 o'clock in the morning. And I lost the fucking plot. And your man was kind of going, lads, I have a fare here. And I was like, what the, lost the plot. 3 of them just looking at me. I said, would you get the fuck out of the van, will you? I'm not even out when you're trying to get in. But your man was like, when you get out of this van, pull that handle, or just, he said, do me a favor, when you stand out of the van, just stand there and I'll press the automatic button and I'll close it on and get out of here. He said, I don't take fares from here. So yeah, but the Adelphi is a beautiful looking building, but it's an absolute dive of the highest order. And I still
yeah,
can't remember the name of the part hotel. So
we'll
move
find
on.
it. Move on. So we then get knocked out the FA Cup by Chelsea, 2-0 away. Adrian's in goal.
Can't even remember.
That's all you need to know. So Allison also is injured. Allison's picked up an injury in training.
Mm-hmm.
So we go into Bournemouth on the 7th of March. So there's no Allison. So it's Adrian in goal.
Am I right in
Trent
saying this is
Gomez.
3 days before the Atletico return?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's Trent, Adrian, Gomez, Van Dijk, Milner's at left back. Robinson is not even in the squad. Chamberlain, Fabinho, Wijnaldum as a midfield, and the usual front 3. Bench wise, Andy Lonergan, bless him, he's back on the bench. It's easy, it must be the easiest job in the world. Matip, Nico Williams, Keita, Lallana. And I went to this one. I remember going this with my brother. And this ends up being the last game of the season in front of fans, which we'll come into in a minute. Wilson scores after about 10 minutes. It's a massive foul on the keeper, but apparently it's all right. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, this was becoming a thing as well. Soft goals get going in. You're like, oh, I could do without this really. But the equaliser is Salah. Now it'll go down to Mane assist, but it is the most horrific assist
Mane
I've
does his
ever
best
seen in
not
my
to
life.
assist him, doesn't he?
He doesn't. This was filmed to a narrative that Mane and Salah hate each other, and Mane was deliberately playing it behind Salah, and he plays it about a foot behind him. To be fair to Salah, he takes it, controls it, and gets the shot off. It's really good equaliser, but it's an absolutely horrendous pass.
Yeah, because we kind of, I don't know, I can't remember exactly if we cut through them or we break against them. And I think it's a break because there's no Bournemouth players around. Like, Mane's just running. And he passes it to Salah. And I always remember from this goal, because when he passes it, like, the groan from the crowd is like unreal.
Oh yeah,
You know,
he was.
it
we're,
was like,
we're
where are you going? And you're giving him. I think you were being fair to him saying it's a foot behind him. It's way more than that because like it's literally like it was like so far behind him. He
it,
nearly passed it
it,
backwards. And
it killed the momentum. You went, oh, you've killed the
yeah,
move
and
there.
then
You know what?
but
Yeah.
in fairness to Salah, he just takes a touch inside and just rattles it into the corner at the keeper's near post, as you would call it, down low, and it's 1-1, half time 1-1. I think. Am I right?
No, no. We go ahead before half time.
Oh
So
no, we do go ahead before half time. Mane.
yeah, Van Dijk it is does a long pass, one for Manny to run onto, and it's just the standard Manny one touch and bangs it right foot. I mean, keeper's got no chance.
Yeah,
And me and my brother are a bit like, thank fuck for that. Can we just get a third and get this out the way?
yeah.
And the whole COVID thing is starting to be a bit more of
Really
a.
starting to brew because there's
It starts
talk.
going like, it's going into Europe.
Yeah,
This is like
because there's
top in
there's
leagues,
actually
isn't it now?
there's
What's going
actually
on here?
talk that Atletico Madrid fans won't travel
Yeah,
to Anfield on the Wednesday because they're talking already about travel restrictions. And what
because
date is this?
so this is on the 7th of March. So they're already saying like, I think
Yeah, because
Spain's close to
yes,
a
because
lockdown
I'll
here.
tell you why I remember it well. Because my birthday's around Paddy's Day, and this was Paddy's Day where there was a lockdown.
Hmm.
Didn't happen. I think what happens is, I want to say the Thursday before the Paddy's Day, which would have been what the 13th or 14th, whatever day it was. Like literally, Ireland announces it's locking down. Ireland
Hmm.
announces it's done. You know, that sort of way. So I do remember that whether it was just previous to this game or just after this game, there's talk: will Atletico fans travel? Will the game go ahead? Was a big question. Um,
Well, I mean, we'll talk about that in a minute. So the only other thing we can remember from the Bournemouth game is the iconic James Milner overhead kick clearance on the
from
goal
Ryan
line.
Fraser, wasn't it? Who
Yeah,
clips the keeper?
it's a hell of a because I remember it's the crowd. It's one of those ones where it's like everything goes in slow motion as it dips, and you're all doing that. Oh, it's going in. Bit like Konchesky's win equalised goal in the FA Cup final. There's
Yeah,
ones when you watch it going, oh, that's going to drop in. That's going to drop in. And Milner, to be fair to him, because you're thinking Milner's slower than time, so I don't think he's going to get back for this. It's some clearance.
hmm,
It's absolutely an iconic moment in the game. You go like, oh wow, and you generally went like, oh, got away with that. I didn't go to the Atletico Madrid game. I think my brother did, but I remember the interviews with Klopp, and when you look back, it's absolutely mental. They're saying to Klopp like, "What do you think the game should go ahead? How do you think we should handle this?" And Klopp's going, and to be fair to Klopp, he said, "I'm a football manager.
yeah,
Other countries are going into lockdown, but you're telling me it's okay for lads to travel from a city that's locked down to this city. You think that's okay? What do you want me to say?" Because there's a thing where rivals sometimes rivalry needs to be put to one side and wake up. Where I remember like Klopp's coming out and fans got their hands out saying high five me, and you can see him going, "Get your fucking hands down, get your hands away from me," because
hmm.
he's going like he's obviously concepting going this thing that's coming on now. It's locking people down. It's
Yeah.
easily
And the
transferable.
thing is,
Don't come near me.
yeah, and people fail to realize, like Kev says there, the lockdown here, I think was the 13th because Cheltenham was still on. I'm nearly sure they locked the country down in Ireland about. It might be about 4 days. It depends what day Paddy's Day is on, but I'm nearly sure it was a Thursday here.
I think that's
Because I
just. I
remember,
think
I remember bringing my daughter to school. I remember bringing my daughter to school, and they were announcing the lockdown or coming home from school, and I'm nearly sure it was on a Thursday, and we were like, "What the fuck?" Like, but like in fairness, when you step back and look for a second, the world, isn't a big place anymore. It's a really small
no, no.
place, and there's travel going on, and you have to remember, like, Dublin has an international airport, so people from all over the world either travel to Dublin or land in Dublin, get a connecting flight, go on, and it's just and it was simple enough to look at going, listen, if in Spain and Italy wasn't it Italy that was horrendous.
Italy was completely like
Italy
you
was
couldn't even.
horrendous, like, and you're kind of going, if this is in Italy and it's in
It's
Spain
coming to
or
us.
anywhere, like basically, if it's anywhere west of Turkey, right, it's game over because the thing is just going to go and go and go. And
Yeah.
I do remember. I'm not saying people didn't care about the Atletico Madrid game. I'm not saying
I
that
don't
for a
think
second, but there was
I.
such a weird vibe around it.
It was. Listen, Liverpool lose. It comes down to an Adrian mistake. It also comes down to the fact that actually, before the Adrian mistake, Liverpool are excellent, and they tear Atletico Madrid
They
apart.
do,
They just can't.
and
They just can't
Oblak
finish. They
makes a
just go.
couple of good saves, and Yeah, and then it
It's
all kind of
probably
falls apart. Your man
it's
Llorente gets a
pro-
goal, and
it's probably Oxlade-Chamberlain's best game
yeah,
after
he
his
was
injury.
unbelievable, Oxlade-Chamberlain.
It's the best game I've seen him play
He was
after his
unbelievable.
after he blew his knee out.
Yeah,
And the sad thing was for Oxlade-Chamberlain, thinking that's what we knew he could have been regularly.
mm.
It just unfortunately his body wasn't allowed to do that, which is the sad thing, But and it's literally not long after that. I sort of remember I was coming out of work. I think that's the last game played in England
It
in front
is.
of fans.
It is.
Because literally the next day, like, we're not doing no more Champions League. That's it. Bang. It's done.
Yeah.
You're like, oh. And listen, we'll talk. We'll talk now. It's about some of
This
the
is where the
ongoings on and
Champions
around
League ends up being played in
July.
Portugal or fucking something.
Yeah, all in one, all in the drag hour, isn't it? Don't they
Yeah,
play the whole thing in the drag hour?
it's the one where Chelsea win it, isn't it?
Yeah, Chelsea beat City. Yeah,
Chelsea beat City in the final, but like all the games are played in
to
Spain, in
Portugal.
Portugal. Yeah, the
Yeah, because
quarters, the semis, and the final. Because that's where City get. No, hold on.
Yeah,
Is it
City
that
gets the
one?
final. Yeah, it's City Chelsea final because there is actually limited fans allowed back for that because Arsenal also in the final that year in the Europa League.
Was there, there
No.
was another one. There was another one the following year, wasn't there? It was the same kind of
Yeah,
carry on because City get beaten by Leon,
yeah, that's sort of
and
stuff.
I'm not too sure
So,
which. We could have our years wrong, but I do remember the Champions League being played. Like they done something mad. I think that might be that year actually.
yeah.
I'm trying to
So
remember. Anyway,
so
go on.
to put this into context, that's the 11th of March.
Mm-hmm.
We don't play another game until the 21st of June.
Correct.
That is when you think
14
back now.
weeks.
So that's 14 weeks in lockdown. We'll get to talk about this because let's be honest, it's as much as people don't want to. It's a bit like horrible times to go back to, but that was the weirdest time. It was just eerie because you just basically sat in your house, going. And listen, I was sat in my house, and I work. People know I work in the hotel industry,
Yeah.
so I was trying to go like, and I worked all the way through lockdown, but I was a bit like, how am I gonna have a job?
Yeah,
Because
yeah. And I
if you,
was
I mean, it's a nice way I'm going like. The country's in lockdown. Even when it comes out of lockdown, you're not going to go stay in a hotel anytime soon, are you? What am
no,
I going to
and
do?
it was
That fear was real.
100%, and it wasn't only yourself, but and like Jesus, like it was you 100%. It was you, but then
No, I know what you mean.
you know what I
Everyone
mean.
had that fear, but that's
Yeah,
my
because like
where my world was.
if you walked in restaurants,
Yeah.
if you walked in travel agents, no one was traveling.
No.
Pubs, pubs were just like were closed. Do you know what I mean? And there was so many things. Unless you walked in like basically supermarkets and like in Ireland, and I'm only speaking for Ireland because I don't know what way Britain done it because Britain are a bit mad as well. But Ireland basically done it where listen, we will open the places where you need to literally get food to be fed and watered, and that's it. Do you know what I mean?
I think in
Everywhere was
England,
closed.
you're allowed 1 hour. I think is it 1 hour a week? Or was it 1 hour a day? But for you to like walk around.
Well, what was put on
And
us
that was a bit
was
late. Well, that's a bit later on. But in terms of shops, like you had to, it was like one person in the household could go do the shopping. So that was my
correct,
job. And I'll
and
be honest, when you look back, it sounds weird. You were made up to go shopping because you got you out of the house, but then you're also going masked on, gloved up, boiling, going. I don't want to be here though.
yeah,
But you couldn't get a delivery for love no. You could because like home deliveries and everything became a thing. But you couldn't really get home deliveries because everyone had a home delivery because what else are you gonna do?
yeah, and the thing was like I know in Ireland you could only go about 2 kilometers from your house if you wanted exercise. And you're allowed out, but you had to be within 2 kilometers of your house. And
The only thing, one thing that did help, and it's a weird thing to say it helped, but it helped. Well, certainly helped my mental health was weather-wise. It was actually quite April to June. It was boiling.
yeah, it was grand.
So,
Yeah,
so
and the thing
it's
was like, I think people when they got to the lockdown,
make the most of it. Bad
yeah,
situation.
like I know here, like everyone where we live is a cul-de-sac area. There's about 20 houses in it. We all know each other, and it was kind of like we kind of got talking about what do we do here, and we're like, well, look, if the kids are out playing and they're at a distance from each other, they're fine, and they ended up like I remember my daughter going out. So this is 3 years ago. My daughter was 7, 8 at the time, and like she was literally going up and meeting her friend on the field across the road here, and they were sitting 8 feet from each other or 10 feet from each other and chatting, you know, and
Yeah.
that's all they could do. And I felt bad on them. I felt bad on the kids because, like,
Oh,
I look at
oh,
it now, even in the winter. Like, my kids love being out, you know,
yeah.
and in the winter they're like crawling the bleeding walls, climbing the walls, trying to do stuff. No matter what kids have, and this is another mad tangent, but no matter what kids have, and no matter what material things they have, being out is the biggest toy they have, in my opinion. And it was horrible.
Yeah. I mean, when
Gav
we,
was talking,
well,
yeah, Hakon soon then says he started woodworking, which is great. I hope you kept it up because I do think people started stuff and kind of got into stuff that maybe they wouldn't have, and they kind of went, you know what, I'll start chopping wood and I'll start making things. He says Gav was talking golf every day on the pod. My biggest thing was when the golf course was closed. I just went south. You know, I was like, because
yeah,
people have their ways out. People probably think I'm a bleeding functional alcoholic, but I'm not. You know, and the pub, the pubs thing. I was kind of going, I can live with that. I can absolutely live with that. You wouldn't find a drink in my house, you know, unless I went and bought cans to sit down and do this show with. I wouldn't just go, I think I'll have a few cans at the pod tonight. They're not genuinely not in my house, and the golf going was a big thing. But to be honest with you, that's where all the live stuff for this show started. If you go back
yeah.
and look at it, we were kind of in it a little bit here and there, and then people were
We
like,
just
"Can you put on
we
more
just
shows? Can you put on more shows?" And we just said to people, "Look, we'll put on shows, but we can't talk football. There's nothing happening, you know." And we just
that's what we
literally,
got.
yeah,
That's
we
what we got
just,
created. Got
yeah,
created. We did do footy, but it's like I think remember you guys did. We're going to talk about the World Cup 1990, and
yeah,
we'll talk through
yeah.
every game
Quizzes,
because
drafts,
what else can you
favorite
do?
goals, favorite players, whatever it was, whatever we could find, we were doing it. And to be honest with you, it would have been easy for us to go, listen, there's no football on. The podcast is going to be gone until we come back. But we actually found an awful lot of people that Jack says non-functioning. I function quite well, Jack. Thanks a million. Uh, he, but we
It was a
kind of
good
found that
distraction.
there
It was
was
you.
an it was a distraction for everyone, I suppose. But we found an awful lot of people going, listen, thank God you're still on. You know, it's kind of keeping me sane. I'm listening and I'm watching, and we're trying to do as many shows a week as we could. But
Yeah,
what can you do? Like, you can't talk
yeah.
football. The only thing that got close to talking football was when, West Ham and them all kicked off because they wanted everything null and voided, which
I mean,
again
people.
just made
Yeah,
absolutely no
I mean,
sense whatsoever.
well, that's where people's true colours came out. Where you're going like, this is all self. There was lots of self interest, and
Mm.
there are certain quite prominent YouTubers. You look back and going, if you look back how you acted back then, yeah, bit of a disgrace really because
Who are they?
you're. I'm not naming names, but
What club did you
YouTubers,
support?
not Liverpool, put it that way. So it
Okay.
would be interests of like, just give them a certificate and just null and void it. And it was just like, it was kept saying that, the wind ups of like, you wait this long for a league title. It's like, is he going to, probably funny, like, most people are a bit scared whether they're going to be able to go back to work.
Mm.
You don't need to go to that level of digging, really. I mean, look, from where I live, it's really quiet. So there's no really kids around here. So, I mean, literally, I remember you telling you, he goes, what are you doing? Because he's always saying, what are you doing? Well, I'm at the house. He said, what have you bought? He said, I bought a tent. What for? I literally said, Litland's camping in the back garden. Why? What else you going to fucking
Yeah.
do? So we
Yeah.
started like camping in the back garden because
Yeah.
like, well,
And
do
Pete
something.
mentioned something there. He says homeschooling was soul destroying. Pete, I couldn't agree more.
Well,
Because
homeschooling was second
well, you have to
lockdown,
remember,
wasn't it?
my son was born in January 2020, right?
Yeah.
So this was actually starting off at that time. Remember, it all kicked off at the
Mm.
Christmas of 2019, really, right? And
I
there
I
was
think I think I had it then.
well,
We just thought it was. We
I
just thought
know
it was a flu.
I know a lad that thought he had it in October,
I
convinced
definitely,
he had
I
it.
definitely think I had it in December, because I remember in the northwest we were all going. There's this really horrible like version of the flu around at the moment. This before
Yeah.
the whole thing really kicked off in China, and when you realise, it probably was that because all the
Well,
symptoms are the same.
yeah. Well, my son was born on the 6th of January 2020, and I remember being in the hospital, right? And like one person up to it was the usual maternity ward thing, one person up on two people, whatever it was. But um, like I think my family seen my son for about 3 weeks, and then they stayed
Mhm.
away and didn't see him, like barely seen him till he was
Yeah.
6 months old. You know the sort of way. But the homeschooling was fucking
Yeah, because the whole
awful,
school was actually
awful.
October onwards.
And I know I'm
Because
way
that's
off the football here, but this stuff
oh, it's a
happened.
separate. It did. I mean, look, from my perspective, I was working from 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning till about 5 at night. It's about 5 in the evening. My wife would then go upstairs to do her job five because they allowed her the rest of the day off. So she worked 5 till 8, and then at 8:30 I saw my wife. So it sounds mad, although we were in the same house. I didn't see my family,
Yeah,
and
it was
then
mad.
literally the only thing that got me going was like shows at 10 o'clock
Yeah,
because I thought I'm like Kev because I was sort of flitting in and out of doing YouTube. I was like doing bits of it
mm.
because I was just started doing the shows with you, or I was just watching it because quite frankly I was like, I've got no one to talk. I've got my mate. You have your mates, so we go like, what can I do at 10 o'clock at night? Can't keep
Not
ringing your
even
mates at
that.
10 at night.
When you're doing nothing all day and you ring your mate
You might,
tomorrow, what are you meant to talk about? Do you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Did you watch the non-football last night? Because you realise when you with especially lads, you don't really talk a lot. Then, do you? Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Ashley says her sister had a baby on the other side of us on the other side of the US in 2020, and I didn't meet her for over a year. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I'll tell you how bad it was. I remember bringing my son down for his 1 year assessment, which is mental, right? And they were up to about 3 or 4, and like like they were saying like, no, don't be worrying if he's a bit behind, and because he's a COVID baby, and I was like, what? They're like, yeah, like there's genuinely things here where kids aren't
So,
getting the interaction in the first year of their life, and they're not picking up
social,
certain skills. And I was like, fucking hell. No, he wasn't his grand, but that's
yeah.
how bad it was. And
It's all
that's
social.
how I suppose how you know I suppose I can't even think of the word, but you were that far away from people. You were that enclosed in your own bubble. You know that sort of way.
Well, I still see kids now in my daughter's school who like still go to school now with headphone like noise ear defenders on
Mm.
because I think because of COVID,
Yeah,
they're just so not used to
yeah,
it being noisy and
yeah,
being what I would say normal everyday noise. But if you've had like 6 months locked up
yeah.
in
All you know is
silence,
the sound of your family's voice and the telly,
yeah,
probably. Hackon says, Gav, I'm still doing woodworking, but less time for it now. I make some time for it. Because it's like, when I think of woodworking and stuff like that, I'm the same. This is what I'm like with golf. Make time for it, because I tell you what, it's brilliant for your mental health. Like, I go out on the golf course and I mightn't even count my score. I put my AirPods in, put on a podcast, or music in my ear, and I just play golf. And I think of nothing. Phone is just there, and actually the phone is just disabled, where I'm just listening to me download a podcast, airplane mode, whatever, and I don't take any calls for about 4 hours, and I just go out and play golf, and it's so good
well,
for you. But look,
my
the
two
one,
things now has been gym. I've actually discovered. I actually never realized till I did it a year ago. Doing something like a gym class. Do you
mm,
know what? You've realised as much as it hurts, and you've seen Stacey after some classes where I feel like a broken man, bit of a broken man now, but it's just that interaction. But this is why I'm glad I eventually got into podcasting because do you know what? As most people won't believe this, I actually do quite a bit of prep for these, so
yeah,
it probably keeps me busy for an hour where I'm sitting researching all these games, which I quite enjoy to be honest. I'm a football geek, so I quite enjoy researching all games, all players, and all that sort of stuff. It's sort of a thing I like doing.
mm,
But yeah, I'm with Kev. Kev was moderating around this time. Me and him went in and out. Me and Kev got to know each other over lockdown
yeah,
because who else? I got to know like Callum of Coppish and people like just people you might have had two interactions with.
yeah,
You end up making good mates out of it because you kind of go,
yeah,
well, what else you got to talk about? So you better get
yeah.
to know people.
And the thing is, like I thought we'd do it for the lockdown, and then we go back to just being the podcast. We just kept people going, but it just kept going and going and going. Like, it was look, it was one of those. Frank Carlisle podcast live says hello, guys. Says Mark Simmons. Explain that to me, because Frank Carlisle podcast live says hello, guys. You need to explain that to me, because I think there is someone in this chat called Frank Carlisle. That's in quite a bit. But anyway, look.
So anyway, football comes back 21st of June, and it's the Merseyside derby, and you're thinking, oh, it's an interesting one to come back to. I mean, to be honest, I've never heard Gunners was deadly quiet. It's unusual not hearing boos.
Hmm,
It's a bit of a mad side that comes out. So we've got Allison in goal, Trent, Matip, Van Dijk, Milner plays, Henderson, Fabinho, Keita, Minamino, Firmino, Manny. And now this is then where we had loads more subs because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 subs. You're allowed to make more subs than 3, and we had water breaks every in the middle of each half. These are
Yeah.
like
So
just the new
did
leagues
he
because
bring
it
this?
was so hot.
Did he bring this in for COVID and end up leaving it there? So many on the
Yeah,
bench and 5 subs, and they just
yeah.
kept it. And
Just
this is
kept
the
it
thing
because
Klopp was banging on about anyway, saying like
yeah.
we should have 5 subs and we should have this. And wasn't this where Wilder had a breakdown? And every time Klopp didn't make 5 subs, people going, "You don't even using subs," and it was fucking ridiculous. Yeah, I remember this being a shy game.
Shag game. All I can remember is after 42 minutes, Milner gets hurt, so Gomez comes on. It's probably the wrong sub. Probably should have been Nico Williams just because we needed a bit of we
Yeah,
need something. Robbo wasn't even in the squad, which probably means he'd locked down well. I get the impression that Robbo just enjoyed his food while he's in
yeah,
lockdown. Chamberlain came on for at halftime for Minamino, Winalka for Keita. To be honest, all I can remember from this game was I think Alisson Becker makes sure we get the draw because I think he makes 2 brilliant saves from Calvert Lewin.
mm,
Because I don't think we actually do anything. It's
yeah,
generally, and you were watching it, and the only other thing we noticed is I think Matip really does. I think Matip breaks his toe, I think, because Lovren's coming near the end. So I think Matip's done then. First game back, I think Matip's done after that.
yeah.
And most of it,
All I remember was it was coming back, and we were like, and all we were thinking was, how many wins do we need here?
yeah,
How many wins? Because I think I don't know how many were clear
I'm not
going
sure we
into
were
it,
playing that,
but
but I know we go into the Palace game knowing beat Palace we're probably 1 win away,
yeah,
or
I
if
think
results go
we're
away, if results
I
go
think
away,
yeah, I think
if
we're
results go away,
I think we're 6 points away from the title,
yeah,
basically. And I think there's 9 games left, and I think we're about 20 points clear.
yeah. I mean, in hindsight, we actually could have just not played. We still would have won
Yeah,
the league.
the funny thing is, if we didn't play a single game for the rest of the season, we still would have won the league.
I know.
But I know coming back in, I think we were saying to ourselves 6 points. I think would have won it,
Yeah,
and we get
Kev puts it out. Said nobody knew what to expect. But remember we all got into Bundesliga football because Bundesliga came back first.
yeah.
We were like,
Was the first
oh,
game
I
was
really love
Dortmund
Wolfsburg. You know,
was Dortmund? I think Dortmund might have been the first game up.
yeah, it was
I could
shit
be
as well. We were trying to convince us these Bundesliga games are good. These are fucking terrible.
yeah.
Come
But
on.
anyone was like just strung out on any bit of football they could find. Um, Yeah, but I do remember coming back, and I remember actually drawing that game and people going, "Oh, well, we're at the dropping 2 points." I was like, "Relax. There's about 8 games left, and we need 2 wins from 8 games. It's going to be fine." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But we'll get into it in the next episode about how we felt and no fans and stuff like that, and we might bring 1 or 2 other people on with us to kind of give their
yeah.
things. Um,
So we've got Palace is the last home game we're going to talk about, and then we've got one more game and we're done. So
yeah,
Palace is a demolition job. Liverpool are dominant.
yeah,
So Trent's back. So it's Trent Gomez, the usual back four, usual midfield, usual front three, and just before half, I think it's just before half time. Let me get my times up. 23. Sorry, no, I'm getting mixed up. 23 minutes. Trent, and does this a couple of times now. Top corner, free kick, and we're like, that's what he can do. But I've got to be honest, it's weird watching Trent score one of the best free kicks he scores. Run to a corner, there's nobody there, and you're hearing Song 2 by Blur. Because that
yeah,
was the song we picked for our goal. Yeah,
yeah,
do you remember that? That was the thing as
yeah,
well, wasn't it?
yeah,
Music for goals, you just going, you
yeah.
sort of going, you celebrate going, it's a bit mad, this, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it was mad. Like all you could hear was I think it was literally the players were there, the officials were there, and whoever was on the bench, and everyone else had to get away. You know,
Yeah.
Trent whips one on the free kick, yeah, and then I think fairly soon after Salah makes it too.
Salah offside. It's a lovely dinked pass by Fabinho. And
Fabinho.
he just takes it for first time, left foot, cracks it bottom corner, and you're kind of going, but you could
It comes
even by
over him.
like
It comes over him, and I think he takes a touch maybe on his thigh, and the
might
keeper
be it.
comes out. Keeper comes out, and he just puts it to the right hand side. The keeper's left hand side, and he just kind of lifts her off the ground a little bit and buries it, and it's 2-0, and you're like, this is it. And we're actually looking, I think, at our next game. We're not looking on to our next game to say, right, what's our next one? Because we know if
This
we
is
win our
one.
next one, it's over. And I can't remember what our next one is. I think it might be Brighton away.
No, next it's City away.
Oh, it
City.
is City away. That you're right.
Uh,
You're right.
so we're all thinking, oh, we got to beat City on their ground to
We
win the
have to
league.
basically avoid defeat at City to win the
Yeah,
title.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're all
Second half, then we do win a 4, don't we? This one.
ball falls to Fabinho, and he hits a thunder bastard. I think is the
Smashes
best way
one.
to
Yeah,
describe it.
smash
And
one to make it 3.
if that's one of those goals you're going, which needs a crowd,
Yeah,
because the ping you hear off the netting sounds amazing,
yeah,
but you was going, can you imagine that in front of a crowd? Because that's one of those goals that would have got you excited. And the final goal is Mane's, but it's what Salah became. It's become his thing now. It was a low cross later on the foot, but it's one in front of it, like the curve.
yeah,
So he just curves straight into Mane's path, left cuts it onto his strong foot, bang.
yeah,
So you're just going, we're 3 points away from the title, lads. 3 points
yeah.
away from the title. But the following day, it's Chelsea at home to City. Now, I didn't. I was thinking. I saw that. I'm thinking. I'm not watching this because I was going to get annoyed because City are going to win. Because City
Mm.
always just do this to piss me off. And Chelsea go 1-0 up on 36 minutes, and I must admit that's when I went. I'm going to put the game on, just for
Well,
shits and giggles, and
I
see what
can tell
happens.
you, I can tell you that we hadn't anything planned for that night, and because we didn't think anything was going to happen, and
And
then
um, in England, I think this is when you're allowed to visit a house.
I couldn't tell
So
you,
you're,
I couldn't
I,
tell you
I,
where we
I,
were at that stage.
I think I remember when my brother watched the game with my dad in his back garden because you're allowed to visit someone as long as you're outside. So you could basically stand in your back garden. So my brother must have set it up that he had his telly, and then my dad sat socially distant in the back garden.
Mm,
So because my dad could walk, 'cause where my brother lived, my dad could walk there, so they
yeah,
could walk up, have a can, watch the match, and walk home. That
yeah.
was it. That was the plan.
I
Was
don't
I
know,
couldn't do that 'cause I live too far away.
I don't know what stage we were at in Ireland. I do know though, by the time the Chelsea game comes around and we're lifting the title and we get onto that, I know we're back in pubs, socially distant, certain amount of people, because a load of us end up in town. But
Eating cauliflower wings because you can have a pint with. Is that when
yeah,
you can have a
yeah, like if you
you had
buy a
food?
meal and all this shit, yeah. Um,
Uh,
but that night, I don't think we have a show organised.
I
And
don't
you're
think
right,
we did.
Chelsea go 1-0 up, City equalise, and then it just goes bit
Kevin De
bananas.
Bruyne, and then it's yeah. So then it's it also got leaked at half time that all the Liverpool team were in the Formby Hotel
Yes,
watching the game because
yeah,
it was just like, and I think Klopp had said like they'd all agreed, well, let's all get together because you can't celebrate with the fans. But obviously, we're in our bubble, as in
yeah.
we're all
Because
out near each
the
other.
win against Palace has put it to the stage where
A
any
draw is
points
such
dropped
enough.
by City and it's
Yeah,
over. So I think Liverpool are making sure that, listen, we're going to be together for every game that goes on here, just in case, because they don't want to be all sitting in their houses when it happens. A bit like,
yeah.
remember Leeds in '92, and they're all
Which are we all
in
in?
someone's Lee Chapman's
Leicester,
gaff or something. Yeah, um,
Leicester's all in Jamie Vardy's gaff, isn't it?
yeah. So I'm trying to remember
So
now. Fernandinho, I think, gets sent off, doesn't he?
for a pet, I think he's last. I think it's Denanigal's got opportunity. I think he's last man.
He's on the line.
Yeah, he handballs on the line, doesn't he? So
Yeah,
he goes, and it's a William penalty. And I remember shouting to I remember shouting to Claire, going, "Get in here, get in here!" She's like, "What's going on?" I said, "We're 15 minutes away from the title." She goes, "What do you mean? You've got one more win?" I said, "No, these lose. I'm
yeah,
going to lose with a title
yeah,
in first time in 30 years. Obviously, first I can't remember the last one was in 90. So it's like it all felt a bit surreal. Where I'm texting my mates going, some of my mates going, "It's done." I said, "I know it doesn't feel real, does it? It
yeah.
doesn't feel real." This, and
Fernandinho,
I
I
remember,
remember Fernandinho because everyone was like, "Is that in?" And then they were shouting penalty, and then they're like, "That's a." But the big thing was he gave a red card because I was thinking if these score, because I don't know what minute it's late in it.
77.
Yeah, and I'm thinking send the fucker off because we need as much opportunity for Chelsea to hold out here. And William dispatches the penalty in fairness to him, and I think it's
That was
then.
that
I
was
think
2 years running. Chelsea
yeah,
have been spoilers because they'd done Tottenham the year before to
that's
stop
right.
Tottenham winning.
That's right, and it's then I think I start messaging around going, this is happening. Are we doing something after this game? And I can't even remember who's on the show. I think it's me.
I
Phil
wasn't. I
Casey,
think.
I think, is on it. I think
I think it's
Phil
all.
is on it.
I think it's a lot of the original trippers. To be fair,
I think Graves might be on it. I'll have to go back and look. I can find it. But I
yeah.
can't remember because it was just like, and I even remember my wife and daughter, the baby, 6 months old, and she was like, "What's going on?" So you need to go out of the room. You need to go out of the room, like, you know what I mean? And then it was
Uh,
just bananas we were drinking, and then it was an absolute hour and a half of fucking
I,
nonsense. It
I've
was. I don't
still
know
got
what was
I've still
going
got
on.
saved it as a favorite picture somewhere when I'd messaged you and you said he said I think he's done. He said He said, "How you getting on?" And my wife had brought in a gin glass, but we had no gin because I didn't drink gin at the time, and she just poured in prosecco. So I had a gin glass full of prosecco to the top.
Yeah.
I
I
went through
remember
quite a
just,
few
I remember
bottles of
for there
prosecco, and
was
I was,
cans in the house at
oh,
this stage, and the reason there was
yeah.
cans in the house at this stage because we were in lockdown, and I was like, just make sure you have drink because the only thing that was getting you through. Um,
But I
but
also
yeah,
had my wife
it,
called Just Eat, and we had ice cream sundaes delivered and a bit more drink. So it's like, how did you celebrate the league? So me celebrating the league, my wife doesn't care about football, but she knows for me it was everything.
yeah.
We sat there with like a massive gin glass full of prosecco and an ice cream sundae, and I was going like, you
Yeah,
went,
rock and
"Hey,
roll, rock and
rock and
roll.
roll."
Jack says
Um,
he remembers the fireworks going out all over the gap. I remember that, and that was
yeah,
all. That was all over Dublin and everything. Like that was bananas. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like um, Ray Brady that does the pods with us. What a man! He actually just started going around his whole housing estate with red flares and you know fireworks, red flares, red smoke bombs. He was knocking at all his mates' gaffs to support United. He was knocking at them all and shouting at them to come out of your houses, come out of your houses, and all absolute insane
yeah.
videos he was sending us. But look, it was
I remember all the reaction afterwards where the interview with Klopp. Obviously, Klopp and Henderson were both really emotional.
yeah.
Um, I was really happy for Henderson because
It's the night. It's the night of Kenny Dalglish's sideboard.
oh yeah, do you
Do you
remember?
remember he's standing on this massive sideboard and he's the biggest bleeding Liverpool scarf you can
The
find on
scarf's
him?
bigger than his head.
Oh,
The
the
scarf's
scarf
bigger
was
than
so big. The
it's,
scarf was
it's,
like it was like one of those scarves you see, you know, where three people or four people hold it up. One of those
yeah.
big. It looks like a scarf, but it's a
It's
banner.
so,
And
it's so funny.
Kenny's what did we call it? Was it Kenny's sideboard or Kenny's? I don't know what the
Kenny's
fuck. I don't
Kenny's
know what.
cabinets.
Kenny's cabinet. That's what it
Kenny's
was.
cabinets.
And like we just won the title, and there was three or four of us on the show going, "Look at the size of that cabinet." It was incredible. I think Carragher ends up on Sky that night. Kenny Dalglish
soon,
ends up on it.
soon as is there. Soon as it's actually unusual. As soon as it's quite emotional. It's actually
Yeah,
quite nice to see because I think it's actually. I think people like Souness and Keane they don't show that side of themselves very often. So when they
yeah,
do, you go like that proves it. This is a
yeah.
big thing. It means something.
I think Phil Thompson might have been on as well.
Tom was at everything.
Yeah,
Someone will never miss an opportunity to get
yeah.
himself.
So it was. Do you know what? It was one of those where when I look back and I think of the the hotel booked and the parade and it didn't happen. But look, they won the title, and
They did.
that's all we ever wanted. And look,
It
we
is.
was it perfect? No,
No.
but I do remember that night when it all kind of sank in. I remember thinking back to the final day of the previous season and being in Liverpool, and we'd beaten Wolves, but they'd beaten Brighton, and I remember Liverpool being on like it was fucking insane. Liverpool City Centre night. It was just
97,
it was like a
97
party.
points are not enough. You're
Yeah,
like,
but it
oh,
was
it's
like a
ridiculous.
party. It was like we're not getting down over this. And I remember, and I'll never forget it. I remember where I was. I was in motel in Liverpool. John Gibbons from the Anfield rap was in there, and he just come over to me, with a few on him. As usual, what happens with me and John, we have a few drinks on us, and he just went, "Don't worry, lad, we'll be back next year to win it." And I actually remember sitting there and I'm like going, "Yeah, that fucker was right." In fairness to him, but look, that's where we get
Yeah,
to. That's where we
it
win it.
is. I mean, listen, I could be honest, and look, I think me and Kev, well, I think you may have spoke about this, and I know it's something I have to get over. It is bittersweet, though, isn't it? I can't
Oh,
deny it's bittersweet
without
because
a
for
doubt,
me, it's the thing I always. It's in football world, Forget
yeah.
there's other things in life that are more important, but that was the thing. That was the thing that kept me going.
Mm.
For a little while, it's like, oh, I've finally seen it. But I've got to admit, there is still I will get over it after. There is that bitterness in me a little way of going, finally win the league title, and I can't celebrate it. Because literally, I was there, you said, I'm gonna be gone for a week. I'm gonna be out for a week, I'm gonna make the most
Oh,
of this. Right? I'm
like
gonna
my
enjoy it.
wife, my wife literally when she seen the league table come February and she knew I was gone, she was like, "There's no chance you come back on Tuesday. There's just," she said, "I don't even expect you back on Tuesday." You know, um, but look, that's how it went. I think
But
when Liverpool
when
win,
some
when Liverpool go and have their parade, then following up on that the year later, whatever it is, and you have the big parade, to
mm,
show people what we won and celebrate. I think that was great. But I actually think um, it'll be in a lot of people's mindset if we went to one league title say this year. I think it'll be bananas.
I think it'll also be a double celebration. It'll be almost like, and it wouldn't surprise me. And we'll get heads ourselves here, but if Liverpool did do it this year, I think a lot of that 1920s team will be invited to something
Yeah,
like
maybe so.
like on the bus behind
Yeah,
to say like get it because
yeah,
you were denied that opportunity by no
yeah,
fault of your own. Like you said, it's a global pandemic. What can you do?
yeah. But look, we'd won it. I think episode 6 of this will be me and Chris. We might bring one or two people on just to give their memories of the season, the 7 games that were remaining, um, and how we just went through it and what it was like. So we will organise that for next week sometime, and it will be on our members feed. So if you're watching and you're not a member, $3.99 a month. It's getting you somewhere between 20 and 30 shows a month. Lots of them at 10 a.m. in the morning. Lots of them, at 10 p.m. in the evening. Some of them in the afternoon. But they're there for you to go and watch as a member. And like I said, everything's available for download the following day on some things. This thing comes out about 2 or 3 days later. But it's all about the interaction. So if you want to be a member and you want to support us, $3.99 a month, and we'll keep doing stuff like this to keep the membership and the I suppose the value for money up, I suppose, as we
Yeah,
as we go through it.
and also obviously we're one episode away from this being depleted, so I need someone to keep me busy.
Yeah,
So if you enjoy this sort of style, this sort of review sort of stuff that we've done, you've got a season in mind, you've got something like that, ping it in the members what
yeah,
Telegram group because I enjoy
yeah.
researching stuff like this.
Or
I
stick
enjoy
it in,
doing
or
these sort
stick
of
it in the
shows. So
comments under this,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
look at it. And we look at it. And usually, what we do is when we get ideas like this, we throw it around to 4 or 5 people. And if you get 4 or 5 come back going, yeah, that looks sound, we go and do it. Or if 3 or 4 go, I don't think so, we won't. We try get a
bounce
read on it
ideas.
before we go and do it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly. Yep.
cool. But anyway, so Liverpool have won the league. It's all happy. It's all happy days. So we'll talk about just a procession and how much it boiled piss, which was just brilliant.
Yeah, we'll
Until
do
then,
that the
take
next
care.
time.
Yeah. Until then, take care. Speak soon.